internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world.
XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over SWIFT one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, for our script, let's get right into today's video. Absolutely mind-blowing. That's all I got to say. We got the IMF talking about escrow, which we're going to get into in a moment. But first, a video that surfaced yesterday. Shout out to 801XRP for this. From Tito da Silva Fila. He has been working at the IMF for almost 11 years, and he publicly just came out and said Bitcoin was a failure. I cannot believe my ears right now, because if you guys remember, when Christine Lagarde was at the head of the IMF, she was the top of the IMF, and then after she went over to the ECB, but she publicly said, what we're looking into is far from the Bitcoins.
I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies, or whatever, and it's far from the Bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago.
And that is why in this picture, you have Brad Garlinghouse, you have Christine Lagarde, you have Jess Chang. There's these closed door meetings is what I'm telling you. You're not going to hear about what's happening. And at the same time that you heard Christine Lagarde talk about, it's far from the Bitcoins, that's when they were talking with Ripple and XRP. And listen to what Tito da Silva says here. I can't believe it.
The inclusion of remittance costs in the SDGs. And indeed, the BIS and the FSB noted that cross-border retail payments are perceived to be slow, costly, and opaque. And recently, in 2020, the G20 endorsed the roadmap for enhancing cross-border payments. So therefore, there seems to be no better setting for analyzing the disruptive effects of fintech. So if fintech are disrupting the financial system, we should be able to see it in the remittances market. Not surprisingly, in recent years, we have seen many predictions about the disruption of the remittance market. Many people said the disruptions was just around the corner. So all those narratives involved three materializations of fintech. The first materialization is Bitcoin and the underlying technology that made it possible, which is the blockchain. Those were the boldest predictions and also the predictions that failed most miserably. The predictions that failed most miserably, the Bitcoin and blockchain. So the initial articles argue that transactions even would be able to be done instantaneously at a very tiny fraction of the original cost. Nowadays, we know that narrative did not pan out. Nowadays, we know that narrative did not pan out.
They have failed miserably. For him to come out and say that publicly, wow, every Bitcoin maxi should know. Bitcoin ain't it. I hold Bitcoin. I'm bullish Bitcoin. But you got to understand, XRP is Bitcoin 2.0 on steroids. And listen to this, exploring cross-border and domestic payment and contracting platforms. This was published by Tobias Adrian of this year. Listen to this part, under settlement layer. To make a payment, participating banks would deposit their domestic central bank reserves in an escrow account controlled by the platform operator, and in return obtain a digital version to trade on the platform. Again, these are all proof of concepts. So a year from now, they could just be using Ripple's line of credit, for example, right? You got to think outside the box here. If they're talking about escrow, there's a reason why Ripple has its escrow and no other crypto out there that uses their escrow like Ripple uses their escrow. That is why the IMF has been hip to hip with Ripple since inception. And that is why in 2015, the World Economic Forum labeled Ripple as pioneers in this sector, not Bitcoin. And it even went on to say, instead, automating contracts can bring improvements. First, agents may trust technology more than the market maker with their private information. And second, counterparties cannot walk away from an automated trade based on escrowed money. Finally, when programs run on the same ledger, they can be consistent with one another. So a contract to receive money tomorrow can be pledged as collateral today, saving precious liquidity. And that is why you even have Mike Blandina, managing director of wholesale payments at JPMorgan, even said Bitcoin and Ethereum are just not going to work.
But I think Bitcoin and Ethereum have failed to be a payment method.
And in 2023, you'll have JPMorgan lying, just like they did back in 2019, unlocking 120 billion value in cross-border payments. Listen to this BS right here. They said numerous private sector players have taken initiative to resolve such pain points. And they refer to four: CLS, Swift, and Finality and Ripple. Under Ripple, they have no cons, but they got to make up cons. They said it's a high volatile asset. And it also said relatively high cost owning to spreads between fiat and XRP, which are pretty much all lies. But over here with CLS, their cons are 18 currencies supported, so not a lot of currencies. Delivery of currencies post-settlement, which is not good because you want instant settlement. For Swift, you got Swift has dozens of pain points. And for Finality, they're talking about 5 pending regulatory approvals for participating banks. They got a lot of work to do. They're not on the level as Ripple with what we have on our roster. So now, listen to, I believe this is Farouk lying about how much they're going to process within the next 2 years. He's saying 10 billion. I'm saying BS. Maybe they can internally, but you can't compare the Onyx platform to Ripple's platform because Ripple is an enterprise level software that will trump what JPM has going. But listen to what he says here. It's complete BS.
Where do you see it going? If you're looking at $1 billion worth this time round, where will you be? How many X?
I'm hoping something at least 5 to 10X. And
within what time frame?
Within the next year or two. So if you really think about how much money we move, it sounds like a small number within JPMorgan. I mean, our business moves 10 trillion a day. So compared to 10 trillion, $1 billion sounds low. However, I think starting from zero, and we've gone sort of 10X over a relatively short amount of time when we launched it a couple of years ago. Now we look at real takeoff. Our client numbers have started to really kind of, take off exponentially.
It's complete BS, just like what Larry Fink said about, them adopting crypto.
I have not heard from any one client they're looking to buy a cryptocurrency at this time. True that you're building out a cryptocurrency capability? No. I mean, we're looking at it.
These numbers will dramatically go up. Whatever they do internally, that is fine. But you got to always keep this in the back of your mind. They're trying to connect every economy together so we have a level playing field, okay? And to wrap up the video, I just want to give you guys a market update. I usually don't, but I want to let you guys know that FOMO is going to completely kick in. What we're witnessing right now is what I like to call a stairway to heaven, but you take one step back and then you take one step forward. We're going to see retracements, we're going to see pumps. But with this, we're going to make lower lows as we go up. I'm not going to edit that part out. But just keep in mind, you don't want FOMO kicking in. I've been in this sector for so long, I have FOMO kicking in. So I can't even imagine an individual coming into this sector 8 months ago and seeing all these prices moon. We have seen nothing yet. Like I said, we will all be here alive and well until the market cap reaches at least $20 trillion, $30 trillion. We will be here to witness all that. So we are so early, right? We will see a 30X in this market. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but don't you dare ever buy the pumps when it's pumping hot. It will do a retracement, but just don't chase these green candles. You're here with the bigger guys. If you're not one of the big guys, you are going to get played. So just dollar cost average in, make sure you're diversified into winning assets. Don't put your money in meme coins. Think about it from a 5-year perspective. Are these coins gonna have real world use case in 5 years? Are you gonna buy a car tomorrow that's gonna last you 5 years and then disappear? Are you gonna invest in a condo that's gonna disappear in 5 years? That's the same mentality that you should have when you're buying these crypto assets. Are they gonna be around in the next 5 years, providing real world utility? It could be financial institutions. It could be third-party private sector companies that are utilizing this, like Walmart. Everything's going blockchain, folks. Everything is going blockchain. We will be back with another video.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.